Then they can, everybody can get used to doing it, and then they'll scare away, maybe if people try to run. Then some people would say, well, it's going to
We're just in the start phase. You have to get up and running soon.
Okay.
They gave it to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Trey. Get Roy to help you. What's the Roy? You come put these, put some barbecue sauce in the cups and put the top on there in the kitchen.
This thing's out there two-step. Oh, yeah. I'm good. You? Good to see you. How you doing? I'm good. Good.
Look, you gotta get the crowd. Do you want to get my opening prize? Just play it right there. So you off the hook. See a ram in the bush. I can leave you to play. Well, we'll do that then. All right. Okay, Sharon, you got the small mic.
Let me go get mine now.
Give them, they got a couple of things right now. Just put them letters to the side. No, no, keep holding letters.
Okay.
Yeah. What's the run?
Send it to Brad.
Yeah,
Where he
you
from?
can say,
He did.
you can just say the honorable
The Honorable Roy
Roy
Adams.
Adams, and then maybe it's gonna do the pledge of allegiance.
All right, because I ain't seen no program. That's why I was there.
You need a program?
Is it on? You gonna let me know when to turn it on, huh? You found the tablecloths? Y'all got them?
Can I get your attention? Everyone, listen, we're about to get started. We are live streaming this, so we have live mics, so we keep it to a minimum. And everything is going through that audio. So we're gonna have to talk up as we're speaking in here. So we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome. My name is Sharonda Brown, and I will serve as the Secretary Treasurer for Helena Parish Police Jury. I'm here today in place of our President, Ryan Bird, who is unable to attend due to work commitments. On behalf of the Helena Parish Police Jurors and the Office of Emergency Preparedness, I am pleased to welcome you all to our Annual Hurricane Kickoff Meeting. During this meeting, we will engage in significant discussions and exchange valuable insights. We're thrilled to see so many familiar and new faces gathered here today. Our heartfelt thanks also extend to the speakers who will be sharing their knowledge and expertise with us throughout this session. We are particularly appreciative of our guests and sponsors for their ongoing support and presence on here today. A big thank you to all attendees for taking the time to join us. Your participation is crucial to the success of this meeting. I would like to express my gratitude to my staff who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that everything runs smoothly. At this time, I will have the Honorable Roy Adams to come up and give us a prayer, followed by the pledge from Mr. Major Coleman.
Good morning. I'm State Rep Roy Adams, and thank y'all for being here today for this very, very important meeting. Thank St. Helena. I'm from East Feliciana, so forgive me on the east and west. For St. Helena putting this on. Matthews called, asked would I come, and I said, oh yes, couldn't miss it. And the state police, GoSEP, y'all know you're here. Just thank everybody for being here. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, let's thank you for this Tuesday. Everybody waking up, doing great, getting ready. Let's hope we don't need this preparedness. We need the preparedness, but let's hope we don't have to use it. And bless everybody. Have a great, safe hurricane season, and be healthy. Be wise. Listen, when something comes across the radio, listen to it. Don't listen to Facebook. Facebook's not always right. Listen to your leaders. And God bless you. And I want to bless the food. Thank you for the food we're going to have today. And let it be healthy and nourishing to your body. Amen.
Good morning. All active military and reserve or retired military, do your proper salute and follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic in which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all.
Thank you all. At this time, I turn it over to our OEP Director, Mr. Roderick Matthews.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. All right, I'm going to give you the purpose of this meeting. To Mr. Ryan Bird, Police Jury President in his absence, to our GoServe leader, Gentleman Mofo that's here with us today, distinguished guests, and most importantly, our fellow citizens of St. Helena Parish. It's truly an honor to stand before you today as we kick off our hurricane season preparedness. The theme for today, and indeed the theme for our entire approach to emergency management, is a simple but profound words. It takes a village. Because when it comes to the power of hurricanes, no single person, no single department, no single agency can face it alone. Our strength lies in our unity, our collaboration, and our collective commitment to safeguard our communities. As we look ahead to the 2025 hurricane season, I want us to consider a powerful truth about life itself and how it applies to emergency preparedness. At any given time in life, you're either facing a challenging situation, experiencing it directly, or recovering from one. This fundamental cycle perfectly mirrors our approach to hurricanes. First, there's the phase where we are facing a challenging situation, or should I say, going into a storm. This is where we are right now, at this meeting today. This is the time to prepare and prevent. This includes understanding the forecast, as we'll hear shortly from our partners at the National Weather Center. Knowing what to expect allows us to plan more efficiently. Having a plan. Do you have an evacuation route? Do you know where you're going? Is your emergency kit ready? Securing your property. Simple preventative measures can make a world of difference. Communicating with your loved ones. Ensuring that everybody in your family knows the plan. This is our window of opportunity to be proactive, to build our resiliencies before the wind blows and before the rain falls. Secondly, there's a phase where we're experiencing it directly, in the middle of the storm. This is the time for response. If a hurricane makes landfall here in St. Helena Parish, our focus shifts entirely. Immediately safety, ensuring the well-being of our residents. Emergency services. First responders work tirelessly to assist those in need. Maintaining critical infrastructure, power, water, communication, doing everything we can to keep those essential services running. Sheltering operations, providing safe havens for those who cannot shelter in place. This is when our plans are put to test and when the training and preparation we have done is tested and hopefully pays off. It's a time for intense focus, courage, and rapid decision making. And finally, There's a phase where we're recovering from one or coming out of a storm. This is the time for recover and mitigate. Once the immediate dangers have passed, our work then shift, assessing damages, understand the scope of the impact, providing aid and resources, helping our citizens get back on their feet, rebuild, restoring homes, businesses, and infrastructure, learning and adapting, taking lessons learned from each event that make us even stronger in the future and mitigating future risks. The recovery phase often is the longest and the most enduring, requiring patience, perseverance, and continued community support. Each of these phases is critical, and each relies on the interconnectivities of our village. Our parish president provides leadership and vision. GoSEP offers vital resources. Our sheriff office, public works, EMS, school, and health services all play a huge role in this success. And most importantly, our residents, you are the foundation of our preparedness and our resilience. Today, as you hear from our esteemed partners and review your role in this village, responder, a community leader, owner, or a resident, your actions, your preparation, and your willingness to help your neighbor is essential. Let us commit our work together to communicate openly, to support one another, so that when the storm of life, or indeed the storm of nature, comes our way, St. Helena Parish stands strong, united, and resilient. Thank you. Okay, I will ask our general, please come.
Yes, sir. That'll do. All right. Representative Adams, Parish President Byrd, I saw him here a minute ago. I think he's opening doors in the back. And Director Matthews, thank you for the invitation, and all the mission partners here in St. Helena Parish, whether you're from local or state agency. I'm Brigadier General Jason Mahfouz. I was appointed by the governor on the 20th of March, and OHSEP began its transition to move on to Louisiana Military Department or the Louisiana National Guard. That announcement on the 20th of March was the end result of a lot of assessment and counsel that the governor had received from the mission partners out there in the emergency management space, you know, the Louisiana Sheriff Association, the Louisiana Police Juries Association, the first responder network that the governor is very in tune with. And it really was just a move for efficiency. When I've made these remarks in the past, I've focused on the fact that the services and the resources that you have become accustomed to dealing with at GoSEP and the individuals that you're accustomed to dealing with at GoSEP were not affected by this merger. In fact, I'm the only new person at GoSEP. Although my predecessors and many of my predecessors were former military members, even going back to before Lang and GoSEP split apart back after Hurricane Katrina. At the time, Colonel Brown, one of my predecessors, not only in the Guard, but here at GoSEP, was the director of the agency. Jim Wascom, a former Guardsman, and recently Director Thibodeau, former Director Thibodeau, a former Guardsman. So the Guard's never really been completely out of GoSEP, maybe in a uniform capacity. We have been, but there's plenty of people sitting in this room working for GoSEP that have been in the Guard or serving in the Guard currently. The Deputy Director, Neil Fudge, many of you who know, was a long-term Guards member. He's now in the Army Reserve. But my message with respect to the merger and the agency change is that those point of contacts that you're used to dealing with or accustomed to dealing with at GoSEP, by and large, have not changed. If you were formerly engaged or your direct communication was with Jacques Thibodeau, or JT as he liked to be called, then you'd just get in contact with me. But otherwise, all of the mission partners at GOSEP remain the same. If you haven't met me or you'd like to talk offline, I got business cards. We can exchange contact information. You can replace JT in your phone with me, and then we can move forward. In speaking with the team, the message that I've been asked to, whether it's hazard mitigation, preparation, individual assistance, our community partners out there with the VOADs, what I've been asked to deliver to you is a message of thank you on behalf of GOSEP as an agency, on behalf of all of our mission partners. GOSEP tends to step in when local, municipal, and parish resources are exhausted. And so we're that backup to the parish. And then, of course, FEMA's typically the backup to GOSEP. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention most of the questions I've gotten since I took over. I took over right when the announcement was made, or very close to when the announcement was made, that FEMA was going to be restructuring. The announcement of the FEMA Review Council. Fortunately, one of the former GOSEP directors and one of the former governor's chiefs of staff, Mr. Mark Cooper, many of you may remember him, serves on the FEMA Review Council. He is actually chair of the FEMA Review Council subcommittee of practitioners. So anyone in the emergency management section at a state or local level, he's there to represent our interest. And Mark I've met several times with Mark. He's had several sensing sessions with the Police Jury Association, or what he calls listening sessions, with the Police Jury Association, the Louisiana Sheriff's Association, our grants management team, because that tends to be where a lot of the frustration during the recovery phase, as Director Williams mentioned. Recovery phase takes a very long time. As a state, we have 19 open disaster recovery grants that span the last 20 years, going back to Katrina. Those represent right around $25 billion in federal obligation. They're going to continue to move through the system as the period of performance for each of those recovery grants gets extended. And we've seen the Katrina period of performance get extended several times, even under current consideration extension, so the last of the projects around New Orleans can wrap up. With that said, we do anticipate that there's going to be change at the federal level with FEMA. The FEMA Review Council will make recommendations to the Department of Homeland Security. Some of those recommendations may be implemented. Some of them may be legislated. There's a current piece of legislation moving through the House of Representatives up in DC. That is the FEMA Reform Act. So I think it's pretty safe to say that at some point, FEMA, as we know it and understand it today, is going to change. But what won't change is there's always going to be a federal agency that's responsible for stepping in when a state resources are overwhelmed. And we've been given that assurance. Terry Noam, the Department of Homeland Security, and the current acting administrator of FEMA, Acting Administrator Richardson. I've got a phone call conversation with him later this week. We met over a video teleconference, and we expressed our needs in the state of Louisiana. Most of our needs tend to be resource intensive when it comes to logistics immediately after a storm in the recovery phase, before you ever get to really restoration. And FEMA has pledged the support this year, just as we've had in past years, of those large commodities supplies that they keep in their warehouse in Denton, Texas. They're typically referred to as the APACs. They come in to replace what we have currently stored houses around the state for commodities, water, REs, and tarps. So those commodities that have been pledged to the state of Louisiana are very much still intact, and FEMA Region 6 has them ready to support us if that need arises. Along with the message of thanks to the mission partners here in the room that represent either local or state agencies, I want to thank you for your leadership in what you do for not only the citizens of St. Helena Parish, but the regional community. As Director Williams said, it does take a village, but amongst the villagers, there are always leaders. And thank you for stepping up and representing your agency or representing those that count on you to be a leader in emergency management, because in most professions, people are not looking for problems. But if you work in emergency management, it's in your job description. Bring me a problem, I'll help you fix it. So thank you for what you do and being solution-oriented in that regard. The state of Louisiana has gone through an efficiency review. It started last year. Really, it started at the end of Hurricane Francine. Looking at the way we do logistics in the state, logistics in the moment of an emergency are a very expensive proposition. Emergency contracts that the state enters into, you can read every legislative audit report going all the way back to Katrina. It's exorbitantly expensive so what the state did was they adopted a model that many other states along the Gulf region have adopted, which is putting out a request for proposal prior to the hurricane season. We did that as a state. We have logistics contracts that are already in place and pre-positioned. Once a storm gets out there and the professionals in the weather community start modeling a storm that presents a threat to Louisiana, we'll take those requests for proposals, we'll solicit requests for quotes many days ahead of need, and we'll lock in those prices at a much better value for not only the state or the parishes that are affected, because, depending on the category of the storm or the intensity of the damage, there is always going to be a state cost share, even if federal resources are kicked in. So that was a move to try to get us a better value as state taxpayers for the services that we need in an emergency. Those contracts will be regional. So depending on where the threat is, the most likely or the most dangerous threat is in the state, we will scale those logistics capabilities based on those contracts and put them close to where they are needed regionally. So there's not so much challenge with transportation and being late to need. So those are very positive aspects of the revised logistics plan for the state. And then finally, there's a contract out there for the pods. If we do get into a situation where, commerce is struggling to get back on its feet, and we need to provide those resources to the citizens, the National Guard will be there, just like we've always been, to open up the points of distribution in coordination with parish leaders. And then at some point, because the Guard is one of those state agencies that's not very cost effective, we're pretty expensive. When the Guard's activated and we bring soldiers and airmen in, it tends to be pretty expensive. And so in order for the state to save some money in that regard, after the first 72 hours, those pods, those points of distribution, will be turned over to contractors until maybe volunteer agencies are willing to step up and take on some of that responsibility. So again, it's just a cost. This has been through reviews at Division and the Office of State Procurement, and the cost benefit analysis associated with doing these kind of things on blue sky days is much better value for the citizens than if we do them in the midst of a storm. If we haven't met, I'll just give you a little bit of background on myself before I close out. I'm a native of Lake Charles. I grew up there, enlisted in the Army, 18 years old, because the Marines wouldn't have me, and that I went to MEPS to be a Marine. So I was looking like a sad young man sitting on a bench at the MEPS, and a recruiter from the National Guard walked up to me and he said, "Yeah, well, why the long face, son?" And I said, "Well, Marines turned me down." He said, "Hey, come on, we'll take you. We'll get you right." So that started my journey 37 and some change years ago. So by many respects, I'm very fortunate to continue to serve. Service is a privilege. I was raised by a lot of great leaders. If anything I had ever done good in my career helped get me to the point that I am now, it's because it was my attempt to translate the good that had been invested in me by a lot of great leaders who were in the organization, both the non-commissioned officers that raised me as a young soldier before I went to officer candidate school, and the officers and the senior non-commissioned officers that have been me since. And I was raised to be a solutions-oriented leader. And I'll make a distinction between results-based leadership and solutions-based leadership. I would think that if you can recognize the difference, but if you can't, a solutions-based leader cares about the process and the people that are involved in it. And a results-based leader just cares about the end result. And so I was raised to be a solution. The governor poked me in the chest during my first meeting and told me that my job was not to fail the citizens of Louisiana. And I take that charge very seriously. So I look forward to working with you on the blue sky days. If we do have to work together when things aren't so blue and happy, then we'll get through it together. And I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good morning.
My turn.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't know the whisper was going to catch. Hi. Thank you, guys. Well, that's a tough one to follow, but I will try. Thank you, General. My name is Lauren Nash. I'm with the National Weather New Orleans, Baton Rouge. We're located in Slidell, Louisiana. For those of you who don't really know who we are, actually under the Department of Commerce, which is a federal department. Under that, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, and then National Weather Service is under that. So federally funded, we cost each of you less than a cup of coffee a year, and not a Starbucks cup, like a Circle K of coffee a year. So federally funded, taxpayer funded. We are located in Slidell, but we cover the southeastern part of Louisiana, all the way over to the Atchafalaya River, down to the coast, and then the southern tier Mississippi counties, as well as having Baton Rouge in our area. So we're that state liaison, helping to support the state of Louisiana. So apologies for people who have seen this before, but we do about 80 of these a year, trying to get all of our partners ready for hurricane season, talk about some new things that are going on, and reminders of some old things that are going on. Where do I point this? Oh, okay, got it. One of those worked. Hold on. I think I skipped a few. I did. All right. So I always like to talk a little bit about what happened the year before, especially if it was a really busy season, but we didn't have a very busy season. I know we had Francine, but there were actually 3 storms that got retired and the most Category 5s since 2019. So it really just shows you how broad that Atlantic hurricane season and basin really is. This year is a repeat of the 2019 names. Remember, those repeat every 6 years. So that means we get to experience the fun of 2020 all over again. But we will not have the Greek alphabet again. So just A to W and to start over. Then we start over with another list that starts with A. For the season this year, the biggest thing you could take away here is 90% chance of normal. I usually forget to put normal up here. I think it's about 14 named storms, maybe 5 to 6 hurricanes, and about 3 to 4 majors. So again, though, I'm going to repeat, this is a basin-wide average over 6 months. So this is not a Louisiana forecast. It's not a Gulf Coast forecast. It's not even a United States forecast. So keep that in mind. We hear a lot about El Nino, La Nina. It doesn't make up that much of what a hurricane season entails, but in case people that are interested in that, we're coming out of a La Nina, moving more towards a neutral. Typically, sometimes means a less active season, but we've been in active seasons now since about 2017, so we could probably expect it'll stay pretty active. The 2 newish things we have this year, if anybody's heard these potential tropical cyclone advisories, by the way, cyclone just means any tropical system, depression, storm, hurricane. First of all, we can only put your cone on something that is actually spinning. It actually has a center, there's clouds involved. It's not some random weather model you're seeing floating around on Facebook 2 weeks out. Problem with that is storms like Ida spin up and form so fast, sometimes we don't get enough warning before those storms hit land. So years ago, we were able to call these potential tropical cyclones where we can say, we're highly confident this is going to hit land within now 72 hours. So instead of naming it, we're just going to go ahead and start your cone graphics. So if you happen to see this year and it doesn't have a name on it, treat it like a normal system and a normal cone. Going to be very useful for us because our problem children are these ones that form right down here and get ready to hit Mexico. And the ability for it to hit Mexico within 72 hours, sorry, Mexico, gives us an extra 24 hours of lead time here in the States, if possible. So just an eye on that. Second of all, this is the first year we did our new cone graphic. It does come after the normal cone graphic, so you may not have seen it with Francine. If we happen to have a storm this year, I'm going to try to use it a little bit more. But instead of just showing the coastal wind watches and warnings, it's going to highlight all wind watches and warnings. And yes, it's just wind. However, if you take this Helena example, that really shows you the inland impact of these storms better than the other cone graphic does, and reminds you that cone is not impacts. I have a Francine example later. I can kind of show you what that would have looked like. So just an idea, if that comes out a little bit more, I imagine this will become a little bit more operational over the next year or two. Really busy graphic for anybody who wants to see it, but I'll explain it. 5 days out, we have about 100 to 150 mile error. So if you're seeing a social media post where it says in 10 days we're going to get hit, double that, 300 miles. If we try to give you a 10-day forecast, it'd be from Brownsville to Miami, which wouldn't exactly be useful. And also, remember, at day one, we still have about a third error. So that means that one way or the other, then about 30 miles, which could be the difference between you getting full storm surge or backwards, basically, wind speed. So big difference there within that 30 miles. Same with wind speed. If you hear us talk about trying to always go one category higher or always predicting to go one category higher. Okay, this is not working. There we go. We're still about 10 to 15 miles an hour off. Sometimes can be higher or lower. Typically we're low. So we always want you to prepare for that one category higher. If we say Cat 3, prepare for a 4. If we say 2, prepare for a 3. My post about social media, I just want to make one point first. That 7 to 10 days out from a storm, the only thing you can get from us is, yes, we're watching. We do not hide a hurricane from you. Nobody is going to hide a hurricane from you. 5 to 7, ooh, that got louder. 5 to 7 days out, we're going to be able to give you a better idea that now we're getting a tropical weather outlook. We can kind of see where it might form, but you're not going to get those specifics until 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 to 5 days out. So if you're going to follow somebody on social media that is not a state, federal, or local organization or your broadcast media, instead of telling you not to follow them, I'll let you decide if you want to follow them. Because every time I do these posts, someone comes up after me and goes, what about this page? And what about this page? Remember, a lot of these people are trying to make money. Not all of them. Some of them really do it for the goodness of their height. But we all like to eat dinner. These people do too. So a couple examples. I was screen capturing all over the place last. This was Laura and Marco 20. It was posted in August 2024 on TikTok. It got 10 million views, and he got paid a good chunk of money for that. Fake weather information that scared the daylights out of a lot of people. This one, somebody made a bunch of arrows on it, which said basically any part of the United States can get hit. We don't make any of those. We don't annotate those graphs at all. Those are not from us. Or if they're yelling at you, telling you that only subscribers can get those pages. We are free to pay us to see our information, I promise. I'm going to skip to this first one, next one. Biggest thing I've been seeing really is this forecast burst model. Now, if you guys have used ChatGPT at all, you can go in there and say, what's the lottery number going to be on August 15th? The other day, it offended me by telling me I looked 5 years older than I am. So ChatGPT can really tell you anything you want. That's basically what these weather models are, taking a bunch of information, running math on it, and spitting out an answer. And that's what gets those really pretty colors that you see on social media. We come in as meteorologists, give you that impact information, the forecast, the potential for what you're going to see from last year, where you can see how far inland Francine had those watches and warnings. So that I use NOLA in this example. Feel free to pick any city in the South if you'd like. If you're looking at these graphics, how much rain is your house going to get? How much wind speed is your house going to get? When is that rain going to happen? You're really not going to be able to tell that from these weather models. So keep an eye out if you're watching those. You're going to see them. We all love them. They're all out there, but there's like 100 different examples of models that are out there. Yes, the GFS is one of them. During hurricane season, typically we have another 10 to 15 to 20 that are being ran on a daily basis to support the National Hurricane Center. The rest of this is review. National Hurricane Center comes in, which by the way, they are under the National Weather Service. They're part of our organization. The 7-day tropical weather outlook tells you something's going to form low, medium, or high chance in that blob. Then if we get that spin of clouds, we'll get our cone. But remember, the cone's only 5 days out. You will not get 7 days on a cone. You'll get 5 if the storm gives us 5. Ida did not give us 5. So if it happens, it happens. Then you're going to get all of the other graphics I'll show you here in a little bit. That 2 to 3 days out is where we start to do the watch and warnings, the threat and impacts, surge-related messaging, and all of our other support that we do for our partners and our public. Just keep in mind the Hurricane Center does everything every 6 hours. So if you're looking for an update every 3 hours, it's not going to come. Those cones are every 6 hours. Speaking of the cone, does not tell you about impacts or size of the storm. Every storm from A to W has the same exact cone size, has the same cone size, and is a little bit smaller. 2024, 2/3 of the time your center line is going to stay on that track. So if you're slightly outside of the cone, this one, for example, if you're in Mobile, I would still be aware of what's going on. Wind speed, remember categories, wind speed only. If you think you're going to evacuate a Cat 3, I challenge you to tell me the difference between 110 and 111 on your house and what that means. So keep an eye on that and looking at the impacts and not the category. These have been around for quite a few years. Sorry, sometimes it goes to PDF and gets a little weird. But chances of getting the 3 different wind speeds, great for decision making. If you have an organization or anything like that, you can kind of see what your chances are of seeing those wind speeds. And I like to overlay those on timing. So this tells you the earliest reasonable time that 39 miles an hour will get to you. Why is 39 significant? Typically that's school buses, ES ambulances. That's when we want everybody in shelter, in their house, hunker down, ready to go. These are my favorite. These we take 1,000 different scenarios of the storm. So this is from Ida. We took Ida, made it faster, slower, left, right, all kinds of different things. And this is a reasonable worst case scenario. So chances are there's only a 10% chance it's going to get worse than this. The great part about this is because it's looking at probabilities. So we're not saying yes, no, you will or you will not get hit. We're saying that you have a potential for 110. So if that storm, like Ida, decides to make that right-hand turn at the last second, we're hopefully going to catch that in our probabilistic graphic here. So those are really, we do them for tornado, wind, surge, and rain. Not really important as much, but if you got surge problems, listen to your local emergency manager because we've got surge products, but they're not super easy to understand down here in Southeast Louisiana. We're pretty good with fire. We are very, very well versed on flooding is. That is the biggest hazard of hurricanes still the deadly, the one that surprised everybody about Francine. That we don't do anything real different with hurricanes. Don't let your guard down when it comes to freshwater and river flooding. And while I do have tornadoes, I don't talk about them too much because they're typically not much stronger than the actual storm itself. But we saw with Hurricane Milton last year that there were some really strong tornadoes in Florida when that happened. So just keep an eye on that. If the tornado happens, it'll be probably in the northeast part of the hurricane. Well, good news, I'm almost done. So we'll just go right on. We have support for all of our state, local, and federal partners. So the parish emergency managers, any other government partners, we have that available on our website, weather.gov/New Orleans, weather.gov/LIX. All of that is on our website. Now, I know we said don't look at Facebook, but you can look at our Facebook. You can look at GOHSEP's Facebook. Those are all great Facebooks to look at, and Twitter. So if you need any other questions or anything, if we can put the last slide on the screen, that would be great. Otherwise, feel free to ask any questions that you have. Oh, look at that moving. All right, going. I think I'm right at the end. See, website, give me another 1 or 2 here. Graphics we've got, and then that's one we can end on. So if you have any questions about the websites or email any of us, let us know. Cool. I can answer about snow too if you want. I don't know. How fun was that? That was lovely. All right. Thank you, guys. Oh, Mike. Gonna steal it.
Okay. So we're going to do a roundtable introduction. We're going to start over here and work our way around. Just briefly introduce yourself, who you with, and a couple words. So we're going to try to get everybody in. So let's try to go as quick as possible.
My name is Derek Clark. I work for Louisiana State Police Troop. I'm a sergeant there.
My name is Douglas Dale. I'm a state agency liaison with OHSEP for all of Region 9. So if you have any issues with these or helps with any reimbursements, then give me a call.
I'm Faye Talbot, I'm from East Louisiana. I'm representing Ward Multipurpose Legislative Assistant.
Roy Bell Adams, State Rep District 62, which is East Louisiana for the East Baton Rouge. I love St. Helena.
Travis Chancellor, I'm the new #1 director in Parish.
I'm Barbara Hester, I'm with the King Ambulance Operation.
Corporate Bank, Ellen from St. Helena 911 board.
Sheriff Department. Educated ambulance service, also LDH Region 9 EMS DRC. You're an activation lead source for Region 9.
Lee Carmona. I'm the Assistant Chief of Police for the town of Greensburg. I am also the Assistant Fire Chief for the Greensburg Volunteer Fire.
Work use, that's Programs Manager, Capital Area, Red Cross.
Davion Jones, also Red Cross.
DJ Ramirez, I'm volunteer at the Red Cross Disaster Systems Assessment Team.
I'm with Greensburg and St. Helena Fire Administration. Sally Strickland, St. Helena Parish Hospital, Quality, Safety, and Risk Management, and Planning. And Acadians usually housed with us during our hurricane. Isabel Seabrick, LSU Accident St. Helena Extension Office. I'm Nutrition and Community Health, and I'm here with Sharon Holden, our Admission Coordinator.
City Parish, Economic Development, Park Board, and School Board.
Right, Helena Parish, Council Mary Walters, citizen of St. Helena Parish. I'm Patrice Wilson, I'm a St. Helena Parish resident, I work full-time with St. Helena Parish School Board, the Child Nutrition Department, as well as the Fifth Ward Recreation.
I'm Vicky Wilson, I'm Assistant Director, St. Clair Parish 911. I'm Sherry Oliver, St. Clair Parish 911. I'm Keisha Judson, Cooperative Community Relations Advisor with Shell. Diane Lewis, Office of Public Health, Region 9. public health.
Melvin Jackson, Region 2 Coordinator, GoSep.
Colonel Williams, DCFS, I'm the Region 1 and Region 9 coordinator.
Renetta Wells, Lead Area Manager, DCFS, DSF6. Kelly Joseph, School Superintendent for the Helena Parish School District.
Thanks, John. I'm interim Region 1 coordinator for GoSep.
Good morning, everyone. Mark Bolt, the shirt might give it away, but I'm with GoSep as well. Area Program Manager, Preparedness Grants, Regions 1, 3, and 9.
Hey everyone, my name is Steve Bolt, Economic Recovery Hotel Service at Helena Parish.
Hi, I'm Renee McNabb. I'm with St. Helena District 2 in Pine Grove.
Alexis Spencer,
I've been Kendra Sutton, Center of Installment.
Eugenia Williams with the Office of Community Development for the State of Louisiana.
Lori Dennis, National Weather Service.
Jay Grimes, State Climatologist, GoSep.
Randy Headache, Community Engagement, Lakeside Mobile Fight.
Miles Kinsley, MEQ, Small Business, Small Community, and BC.
Dorothea Mayer, I'm the Director of Nursing at St. Helena Parish Nursing Home.
Celia Rose, volunteer firefighter for District 3.
Travis Welch, volunteer firefighter, Fire District.
Gerald Lazarus, resident of the Lane 30 and
Kobe Bean, Nursing Home Administrator, St. Helena Parish.
Lee and Lindsay, Health Department, St.
State of Birth, Chief of Police.
Retired Sheriff. Also.
Part with GoSep and the state 3 coordinator and subject matter.
Governor Caldo, GoSep, Public Assistance, Technical Services.
TFO News Chief Deputy St. Helena Parish Registrar of Office. I'll Lorenzi and Becky will go ahead and.
Okay, so look.
Antoine Loftus, St. Helena Parish resident.
Trevor Collins, Penny Stafford. I'm the director. She's the assistant director of Audubon Regional Louisiana.
Victoria Jackson, Reparation District.
And Earl Williams, President of St. Helena Parish and Foster Beach.
Okay. Thank everyone for coming. At this time, we can kind of do a little discussion. If anybody has any questions, anybody have any questions? I think everybody presented very well. I know everybody's ready for the food, right? But it should be, but it comes serving now. So, with that being said, we do have some door prizes that we're going to get to pretty soon. As you leave, you're welcome to stay or you can go, but we do have some door prizes we're going to be giving away. So, with that being said, that's our kickoff. We all agreed that this was a productive session, and when we leave here with a clear understanding of our path ahead. As we move forward, let's remember our theme from the day. It takes a village. Hurricane preparedness is a huge task. No single person or department can do it alone. This hinges on our ability to collaborate and to communicate. So again, we count on each one of you in St. Helena Parish for the role that you play. We appreciate you and hope that you continue in your roles and continue to help us as we protect the best parish in Louisiana. Thank you. Yeah. So they're gonna do those prizes right. I'm gonna ask the young lady to come. We're gonna. Who gonna pull the names? What I thought she gonna let Roy pull the names. Hey.
When you coming with us, I forgot what day. Okay.
The Thursday. Yeah. Because I'm a, we want to thank our sponsors that donated so we can do this today. We had a list of them. What's that? Oh, so on the wall you can see our sponsors, everybody that donated to the cause. So everything that we have was donated by one of our sponsors. So we're going to get started. Make sure you have your tickets out. And as you can see, we have some great sponsors. Yeah, they appreciate it. So you pick the number. Give it to me. I'm going to call it. Okay, and listen, it's outdoors. So everything is kind of related to outdoor activities. Okay, I'm going to call the last three. The first one is, the last three is 260. 260. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, you're going to hold them up and call them. What y'all going to do next? So listen, our next door prize is going to be a gift certificate. Gift certificate for Miss Ann's Chicken and Amite. 8-piece. It's two gift certificates for 8-piece from Miss Ann's. Her chicken is not better than ours, though. I can tell you that. Okay, last three is going to be 262. 262. Going once. 262. Yeah. Okay. 257. Anybody has 257? Is that him? Yeah. Yeah. All right.
257.
You got it. All right.
Another one. You're saying.
Another gift certificate for Miss Ann's, 8-piece. 285. 285. Go. 285. All right. Okay. 302, 302. Okay. We got it.
One in the kitchen, okay. Here.
Okay. You can show it.
Yeah.
225. 225. So we have a cooler bag inside. 220. That was gonna be Matthew's ticket too. Let him know that, okay? Because it didn't come. Okay. Outdoor barbecue set. 213.
Bingo.
Okay, this is a fan with a lantern on it. Two three zero. This is really outdoor activity. Anybody change their own oil? $298. $298. We got it. Okay, we have a air bed, air mattress. Anybody going camping? 251. He wins something every year. We have with a cutting board. 256.
Sure. Retired, sure.
Okay, we have some containers. 244. Everybody in the back, y'all gotta walk to them. Okay, we have another cooler with some items on the inside. Lighters, gloves, barbecuing, and a lantern. It's going to be 287. 287. 287.
287.
Let's peg it. Peg it right here. Let's peg it. All right, we have a tabletop griddle. 283.
I'll put it in the bag here. Yeah.
All right, this is for the tent. Don't try to lift it up.
I don't worry, I ain't gonna lift this one.
It's 269.
You gonna have to come get this.
Jay.
Move this around.
Yeah, look, you can set it. You can set it on the side. What are you doing now? Okay, we have a gift set with a fan, car washing bucket, and some other supplies. 242. 242. Tyrone. All right, what's next? And remember, y'all got that stuff over there too. Okay, We're gonna do the TV.
Come on, you don't want me to hold it too long.
228. 228 for the TV. 228. What we doing? Griddle. Okay, we have a grill, 2-burner griddle. 288. 288. Oh, way in the back. 288. Oh, you seen it, Lisa? Yeah. And that's the propane that goes along with that. All right, we have a small chair. 292. 292. You would get him first, huh? Cast iron. Y'all gonna do them as a set, or how y'all doing?
They separate.
Okay. So which one y'all do first, the Dutch oven or the cast iron first? 05. 35. Okay, now for the Dutch oven. Wait, wait. Okay, Dutch oven is 75, 275. Going once. 275. All right, another time for the Dutch oven. 226. What is that? Oh. So we have a folding wagon. 267. 267. Cooler. 245. 245. All right, so we have 3 items, big items, with the air fryer, 250, 250. You sure? Hey, look at that ticket. Okay, so hopefully the next person could cook jambalaya. We have a nice jambalaya pot here. 268. I'm sick of you, Feliciana. And our last item is the rocking chair. Last item, rocking chair. 5. For the rocking chair, 578. Nobody has 578. Nobody has 578. That's not a real number. All right. For the rocking chair, 265. Yeah. All right, thank you. I hope y'all enjoy your food. We hope to see you next year. Okay.
So you never.
I didn't even get a ticket.